Oh man, there's so much to remember about Cody. Great man, great husband, great father, great coach, great friend. Just someone who's always been so passionate about everything that he does, passionate about his family, his friends, his relationships. Takes a lot of great pride in building those relationships and maintaining them, and just great teacher, someone who has really put up a lot probably with me, took me in a lot of ways and mentored me, and so thankful for that, and just love the man so much, and he just built those relationships again up with everyone and really took a lot of pride in making change in people. I think some of my favorite stories and memories are probably just spending time with Cody and Dana and the boys, just really being embraced in their immediate family and the whole Hine family. A lot of times just spent at their house, at their parents' cabin in Tahoe. A lot of fun memories. Basketball games in the front yard, video games in the house, the boys talking trash and just loving it. And then just with Cody, all the trips that we've gone on, recruiting trips, just been a lot of fun times. A lot of good memories in hotel rooms, playing blackjack, gambling, different things like that, and just really getting to know him and Dana more. And something that for me personally always took was just the relationship that him and Dana had. It was a big impact in my life, and knowing that being a coach was a profession I wanted and something I was really passionate about and wanted to do, and finding a spouse that understood and could carry that same relationship they had. And so it was special for me when I found my wife, and I saw a lot of similarities between her and me that I seen with Cody and Dana, and so it's been special being able to see that and just trying to follow his lead once more in that path too.
What's the thing you're going to miss most about Cody being around?
Just going to miss him. All this, the fun times. I mean, I don't know if it's just any one thing can pinpoint it on. Thought about it a lot the past few weeks of just middle of the night, late night, a lot of late night phone calls, work calls, and just always knew there was someone else up to talk to. But just kind of miss him, just miss talking with him, and a lot of it's work and a lot of it's just shooting the bull and just a lot of fun times.
Well, we're here to celebrate Cody's life, and I've had the pleasure of knowing him we've had the pleasure of knowing him for 12 years. He's the first man I met when I took the head coaching job here at Chico State, and we became good friends, our family friends, and we've raised our children together, and just been best friends for a long time. And again, one of the best men I've ever met. It's just been a privilege to have known him and just kind of lived our lives together. So I'm going to miss him. Well, I think I've had the privilege and the luxury to know him on a number of different levels, being a kind of a workmate, and then raising our children together, and just being good friends. So I think for me, I just remember him as a fierce competitor, and we would spend hours in our offices, talking about sport and coaching and just working with young youth, and just seeing the impact that he was making on his student athletes just was so amazing and inspiring.
I feel like, from my standpoint, from on the family side, they were our first friends here, Dana and Cody, and they just took us in, and was really great for me because I was coming in not knowing anybody and just being a part of their life. And he is so patient with the kids, and it was great. And just volleyball camp, he's like, yeah, bring them, and just with our daughter in particular, he's very patient, and Ellie loves him and stuff, so I don't know.
My favorite times are just sitting out along the ball field and in our chairs as dads, watching our kids kind of grow up and play ball. And we've had quite a few moments on the baseball field where our kids were being silly and we're just looking at each other, kind of laughing and having fun. So those are the times I I'll remember the most. But I've had quite a few coaching moments with him where we've just chuckled in the office. And I actually found something that a friend of mine gave me, and it reminded me of Cody, and it was kind of had a little sport context to it, so I wanted to read it. Someday you will be faced with the reality of loss, and as life goes on, days rolling into nights, it will become clear that you never really stop missing someone special who's gone. You just learn to live around the gaping hole of their absence. When you lose someone you can't imagine living without, your heart breaks wide open. And the bad news is you never completely get over the loss. You will never forget them. However, in a backwards way, this is also good news. They will live on in the warmth of your broken heart that doesn't fully heal back up, and you will continue to grow and experience life, even with your wound. It's like a badly breaking an ankle that never really heals perfectly, and that still hurts when you dance. But you dance anyway with a slight limp, and this limp just adds to the depth of your performance and the authenticity of your character. The people you lose remain part of you. Remember them and always cherish the good moments spent with them. And I'll always remember you, my friend.
Go for it.
I'm Dylan. I'm Cody's nephew.
I'm Austin. I'm Cody's oldest son.
One thing Cody taught me was that you have to work hard for everything, and he was such a dedicated person. Like, when he put his mind to something, he always achieved it.
Every night I would usually read with him, and he's always just like, you gotta get good grades to have an amazing life. And just one thing that he was struggling with was his heart, and he never really got to do stuff that he wanted to do just because of his heart.
But he made the best out of every situation. He was always there for all of our family members, no matter what happened.
He would always just be there for everyone.
And he was always positive.
He was a great man.
The best thing about my dad, he was a good man and he tried his hard to survive. And I loved him.
That he tried his hardest to stay alive. He was one of the best uncles I could ever have.
Fun memory, I had fun with him at Legoland. It was really fun there.
My fun memory that with when we went to the lake at Lake Tahoe, our family with Cody, and then he looked at our shell collection that me and David spent.
He used to tell great stories and great good thoughts that we went to cool places and a lot of good stuff.
And for me, that I'm gonna miss about him is all the fun movies he picked. They were really fun.
You ready?
I'm Walt Stringfellow. This is Leslie Stringfellow. Our daughter Lacey Stringfellow was one of Cody's very first recruits. Indeed, she and we met Cody during his first week on the job here, dropped into his office. That was 18, 17 years ago. We have so many incredibly wonderful memories of Cody, Lacey,
bringing the whole
program.
team, staying at our house, the trainers, the coaches. Dana came pregnant with her first son, and
Cody kept Lacey on track. She turned out to be a stalwart in the program, and that's thanks to Cody's insistence on her toeing the line. He was inspiring, generous, but we remained friends. We remained friends right up to the end. It's a special place in our lives.
we love Mel and Judy, love Dana.
Yes, we do. I can't begin to express our gratitude for having Cody in our lives and the lives of our family. We all were blessed by it.
We're very grateful.
One special memory I have is of Cody's time I spent with Cody when he and the team would stay at our house when they were playing in Southern California. We lived in San Clemente, and the entire team, trainers and all, would stay there. Often, Cody and I would sit up talking way past midnight on into early morning hours. We shared a lot of common interests: sports, literature, history. He was a knowledgeable, thoughtful guy, and I just had these great conversations with him. In years since, though we're long out of the program as far as our daughter is concerned, he and I would exchange text continuously about things like that. Just several months ago, he sent me a book following a few comments I made in a text. He was just so thoughtful. He was...
Speaking of thoughtful, we went to one of his games in Southern California 10 years after our daughter played, and he invited us to come to the team dinner, and we did. And after he had talked to all the parents, he came and sat down and had dinner with us and made us feel so special and so important. And it's a real talent of his.
That's actually the last time we spent time with him physically. It was in 2017. We're so glad we had that opportunity, and so many others through all the years. He's a very special guy. So,
we love your whole family.
We do. His mom and dad. We went to the place where, at their suggestion, we went to the place where Cody and Dana had their honeymoon, and walked around thinking about them and what that was like. On another occasion, I was on a driving trip with a friend, and we made our way all the way out to the ranch and poked around, talking to Cody on the phone, trying to find the key that we couldn't find. Never got in, but saw the place. Went in the barn and saw a big old barn owl, and oh gosh, I just can't begin to tell you. Just so many. Thanks so much for the opportunity to share a few memories of Cody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cody and I grew up together at the Lair, and we're on staff together, and we're neighbors at Cal. And I think the thing I love the most about Cody is he literally lit up a room. Everywhere we went, everyone was always so happy to see Cody. It was like bringing a party with you. And I miss him. I just miss him.
And what's a funny story you can tell? Or just a heartwarming story, just a good memory.
Okay. One of our traditions when we were on the dining hall crew together at the Lair was we would take shots in the walk-in freezer it was called drop trow board meetings, and we would drop our pants and take shots, which led also to us being hungover a lot of breakfasts. And one thing Cody and I had in common is that we had the egg shakes, where if we were hungover and it was an egg breakfast and we had to pass these trays down, our hands would shake, and we would take turns covering each other's tables and running outside for a breath of fresh air or worse. And we always had each other's back. Somewhere in our friendship, Cody and I got in the habit of always saying goodbye with a hug and saying I love you. And it feels so cliche that people always say, like, don't forget to tell people that you love them. And the thing that brings me the most peace is that I know Cody knows that I loved him, and I can still hear him saying, love you. And that brings me a lot of peace.
Well, I got to know Cody when he became friends with our son, Josh and Seb, when he was in grade school. And they were all the goofiest kids that age, that they were so natural and unpretentious. And he was such a delightful child, and we enjoyed spending time with him, and our families skied together, and it was so much fun to watch him grow up. And he turned into an unpretentious, honest, and wonderful man. And it's been a privilege to have had him in our life, and Dana as well. I mean, they've added so much to the Cook family, and it's been a true privilege. There's so many stories, but a simple one is I decided to do all the boutonnieres for the boys for their senior prom. So I came and discussed the colors of the ribbons that should go on the boutonnieres to match the girls' dresses. And Cody thought the color I picked was just wonderful. And I thanked him for his input and then realized, oh yeah, Cody's colorblind. He couldn't see the colors. It didn't matter to him one bit, but he never let on that it didn't matter at all. It's kind of a silly story, but that was so much him just, letting, humoring you and letting me do my thing.
What would you say is your favorite thing about Cody?
I think his naturalness, his honesty, his integrity, and his joy of life. When we'd go skiing, the kids would all play cards, and just sitting on the couch, listening to them, josh one another, and have so much fun. And they'd play the cards till the wee hours of the morning, and it was just so much fun to watch.
Hey, my name is Bob Conca. I knew Cody in college. We played volleyball together, in the fraternity together, and one of my favorite people on this earth. Such a good energy, such a good light inside of him. Family is incredible too. A couple of quick stories about some of my favorite memories. Somehow he was given the nickname of the Wheezy Man in college. I don't remember where it came from, but every time I would see him, and whenever I used to call him on his birthday, talk to him once in a while, and leave him voicemails, and he was always a very wheezy man, and an inside joke that made us laugh, and that was a good thing that we shared. Another thing that he taught me was the art of the whoopee hunt. So in college, we were roommates one year, and he showed me what it was like to have brothers. I grew up an only child, and I really didn't know, so he educated me while we were getting educated. And if you don't know, a whoopee hunt is when you're asleep and someone comes in and tears off your covers and runs out of the room with them and doesn't come back. And Cody was one of the best I've ever known at the whoopee hunt. And every once in a while, he would wake you up with the announcement, "I'm a-going whoopee hunting." And you knew after that you were going to be cold in about 15 seconds, and usually took a good solid 5 minutes to find the whoopee once it was hunted successfully. And that is a cherished memory. It sounds silly, but one I will never forget. Love you, miss you, Cody.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Heinz, and whoever's seeing this. I was an exchange student at the Heinz residence in '88. First time I met Cody, he was picking me up in the airport together with Mel and Judy in the LA airport. And my first impression was this guy in a tank top, shorts and flip-flops, and his cap. And I was thinking, this is in the nighttime. How can you dress like this? But I wasn't prepared for once we went outside. It was still warm in the night. So this was my first impression, this relaxed guy. And I think I spent there a year, and maybe 8 out of 10 days, he would just put on his tank top, his shorts, his cap, and that was it. And I loved it. For every day I have been there in their residence, I loved it. Their attitude, just go and get it. Whatever you dream about, just go for it. This wholeheartedness, he had this incredibly wholeheartedness. And one incident that could sum it up maybe is it was a conflict because we were traveling to the East Coast by the end of the year. We were 5 boys, my brother, Seb, Josh, and Cody. And we were going to the laundry to wash the clothes. And I said to Cody, "Oh no, you 4 guys can go. I'll stay here." But he couldn't accept that because I was breaking the sort of the team spirit in that way. So he got an argument with me, and I have been thinking about that a friendship is not only to say the nice things. Friendship is also to push on the weak spot. But the year he was a total loyal friend. We spent many hours driving from Taft High School up to through Mulholland Drive. I don't get to spend that much time with people So it left a long impression. We had long talks in the car, going every day back and forth to Taft High School or going to the beach, and we had a great year. I don't think it takes 10 years to do what we did in 1 year. When I recall all the memories, it's incredible. I'm so thankful, and it has had a life-changing impact on my life. And I'm so happy to be here today. It has been a big experience for me. And to see all people, to see all the fantastic things that he has left. And the last thing is, I had a little quote, maybe I have been thinking, is from an English singer called The Streets, and he says that you came to the world with nothing, you're leaving with nothing but love. Everything else is just borrowed. And that was what I was thinking about with Cody. He leaves here with a lot of love. Yeah. Bye-bye and all my love. Yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. It's been wonderful to be here and celebrate and be with everyone during this time. And I really must say, growing up, we were away and then we moved back to Dos Palace. When we moved back to Dos Palace, there was a new person in the family named Kathy Anthony, and she had an impact on all of us almost from the start. But even more so, we realized that behind Kathy was also this amazing family, the Hine family. And Anthony takes me down to LA, and I get to meet the Hine boys and Mel and Judy, and it all becomes kind of bigger than life. You're down there and you're just with these amazing people, and it changed my life. I think I was like 13, 14, 15 years old, started going down to Topanga, and also you guys coming up to DP or going to the ranch together, and those are really fond memories. And you really get the whole Hine family when you get into them. And what I with Kathy, it started with Kathy, and then Mel and Judy and the boys, is that you feel a lot of love, and you felt loved and accepted, and it was always wonderful to be around them. And I have a lot of very fond memories, and it was really great to be here to reconnect with the whole family and see Dana and the boys and everybody. So wish them all the love, and continue to live on the life and ideals that Cody embodied. Toughness, but also love and spirit and joy for life. And I think he lived a full life every day of his life. And in the Bible it says we're supposed to be given a life to the fullest, and that's really what Cody lived. I think I'm convinced of that. So God bless you all. Thanks.
Thank you. What's one great thing that you remember about Cody?
So just the joy and fun. I mean, every time I was around Cody, it was always about having a good time, and he knew how to do that. We always had fun. I was good friends with his older brother, and every time we saw Cody, he just brought it, like they said earlier. He always turned up the fun meter, and he had a way of doing that, and he enjoyed his time with us, and he made everybody else have a good time. And it was, anytime he'd show up, we'd always turn up the fun meter, and we always had a good time with Cody and the whole Hine family. They brought that out on all of us, and I'll always remember that about Cody, is about his ability to just turn it up, make it fun, keep everybody smiling, and have fun to the best of your ability. And anyway, a great day, a great send-off, super sweet guy, gonna miss him a lot.
Well, I live up in Washington, and I've been a long-time friend of Mel and Judy. Mel and I go back to the early 1960s, and so when Cody started doing the women's volleyball, I took an interest, and they were having a tournament up in Seattle, and I got to go to that and watch their games, and that was a fun thing. I've spent time at their house, and it's just such a warm family, a beautiful family. And for a ceremony like this, I've never seen a ceremony, a celebration of life like this one was. This was remarkable, and a heartfelt feeling to so many people here.
Do you have a specific memory about Cody that you'd like to share?
Just watching him coach, the intensity. I went to one of his practices once, and the intensity of his practice and the way his players related to him with respect and the way he related to his players. He loved his players. And I remember talking to him once about his team, about 3 or 4 years ago, and he would light up when you talk about his team. That's how much he loved those players. And so instead of a specific thing, I remember that, because that was a reflection of who he was.
I think one of the things that stood out to me today that really brought home what Cody means, not just to me, but to I think everyone here, is that in that gym there were probably over 500 people. And I think at a gathering like that, to honor somebody, ordinarily a lot of the people there would be in support of their loved ones being there, or may know the person somewhat peripherally. And I think through all the stories you heard people talking about, both when actually speaking or just as asides when people were hanging out, is that of those 500 people, I think everyone there at some point or another learned something from Cody, felt supported by Cody at a key time of their life, or felt inspired by Cody to be their best in something or be their best self in making a difficult choice. And also I can definitely say that every single person there laughed a lot with Cody and because of Cody. And to affect people not just so broadly but so deeply was his unique trait. And I also know that for me personally, some of the very best, most hilarious times that I've had in my life were times with Cody, and quite often induced by Cody. Whether or not there's a couple of them actually. Okay. Someone will have to choose to edit or not.
Okay.
One involved a bit of some poor decision making at some point in high school, where it's possible that Cody and I might have arrived to school having imbibed a little bit beforehand. And that seemed to come to somebody's attention, so we were sent to the nurse at school to have a breathalyzer done. And Cody managed to teach me, without saying a word, exactly how to make sure everything was going to be okay. And that is that when he was given the breathalyzer, he inhaled instead of exhaling, and it registered as 0.0, and I followed suit, and everything was okay. So I already said it's perfectly okay to edit this out. And I think the other thing that one of the other memories that really stands out to me is there was a New Year's Eve party at a friend's house on the beach, and it was just really a fun occasion. And after the clock struck midnight, Cody had this wonderful, wild idea to take off all clothes and go boogie boarding, body surfing in the waves. And so we followed suit, and it was just wonderful. I mean, this was now almost 30 years ago, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was really a fun memory.